welcome. The very special episode of a Candor Gander. Today we have Franz with us. CryptoGrady will be joining us in a bit. We've got Rock 808 who will be joining us hopefully soon as well. Um, for now, we've got myself, Sergeant Philby McNasty, and none other than Mr. Franz himself. First time guest. I think it's been a while. It's been in the making. We've not made it happen up until today. How's it going, Franz?
Yeah, excited to be here. Big fan, so it's fun to hop on with you.
Oh, no, thank you. I'll go ahead and just, welcome everyone here. Candor Gander's a DFK variety show where we interview people like you. Um, if you've not yet subscribed, consider a subscription, turn on those notifications, consider like. It is Saturday evening where I'm at. It might be Sunday morning for some of you. If you're watching afterwards, whatever part, whatever time of the day, feel free to grab a drink, take a seat. Welcome to the flock. Friends, geez, there's a lot going on this weekend. What all is it just for those of you who don't know, you should know, but for those of us who don't know, what's going on this weekend?
Yeah, we've got a Fight Club tournament going on. The Baby Cup, level ones only. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of parity in the matches with no souped up heroes. So it's been great to watch.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. It has been great to watch. It's been great to participate in. I was all talk. I was all I was all bark, no bite when it came to battling pouring. He totally owned me up. We'll talk a bit more. We'll talk more about that as I sort of digest what happened, and we'll talk about some of these other fights as well. We'll do a little bit of Fight Club sort of recap, as well as talk some AMA. But in the interim, for those of you who maybe are noticing audio quality might be different, video quality might be different on my end. So when I transitioned jobs, I never thought about giving up my work from home equipment, which I did. And and it wasn't until I was setting up for this where I was like, wait a minute, I don't have a cam and I don't have a headpiece. What am I gonna do?
Oh no.
But we're making it work. We're making it work. So France, so let's talk about you first. Let's talk a bit about you. You're one of how many members of the Bauxite Chat group?
Yeah, one of five. Some friends from real life that enjoy DFK, and we were spending all our time talking about it. So we were like, hey, why don't we just hit that record button, see what happens.
Nice. When did you? So of the five friends, when did you get in comparison to the rest? Who introduced who to DFK?
Yeah, so it was myself, Guy Kidd, and Matty Pesk. Originally back in, I want to say late November, early December. We saw it, and immediately we were like, "Oh my God! Like this is it. We gotta go all in on this." Not for the financial reasons, but more just because we're all gamers, and it kind of really scratched that itch as far as RPGs. And I love the medieval, kind of setting of it with the archers and the knights and stuff like that. And it's been great. The community's awesome, so we're having fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know you said we're all gamers. You were involved. You got in. You were sold. I mean, admittedly, maybe up until in duels or even Fight Club, you could argue, there wasn't much gameplay to the
Hmm.
actual game, right? Um, there was a vision, right? There was some tremendous amount of foresight in your end. Crystal ball for all of us who are participating. What specifically about DFK got you hooked?
Well, I say we're all gamers, but I think we all have that gambling side to us too, and pulling the slot machine handle of summoning, definitely definitely was a fun thing. You get one card that comes out and is blue or better, and you're hooked.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I have Captain Crystal here commenting to the fact that all my funds go to DFK. Um, I was resisting that for the longest time. I was always, and it's one of those like do as I say, not as I do type of things. Like
Mhm.
I too subscribe to the you got to diversify, um, and slowly but surely all of my crypto funds have turned into DFK sort of bags of jewel and name of other assets, right? So I'm diversified within DFK. Yeah, I guess that's as good as it's gonna get for me. But how about yourself? Are you into other projects as well, or is it just DFK?
I definitely diversified among like the majors, and there are a few other altcoins, some other games that I'm interested in that, like DFK don't have a game out yet, but I'm optimistic about. But yeah, no, it's the same kind of thing where it started out as a little bit with DFK, and then there was the drop in price, and I'm like, I could really get a lot of jewel for my dollar. Let me throw a little more in, a little more in, and this time later, I'm over 100 heroes and questing every day and stuff like that. So yeah, here we are.
So it sounds like CryptoGrady is going to be in the midst of battling. He wants us to be able to do some coverage of him, which I'd love to do because he's fighting none other than Mr. Raff himself, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
Franz. Yeah. Should be an interesting one. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and try and sort of pulling, doing this on the fly, see if I can get that screen up on my end. But in the meantime, let's keep talking. So you got into DFK. How did you get into Fight Club? I mean, because that was it you and your crew? Was it Raph? Who discovered it first?
So I think Raph and Neindorf had Tylus on when it was
Okay.
first coming out. I had saw a bunch of tweets, and it was when Tylus was first kind of getting things going, and he was showing little clips of different moves and different animation. And I was kind of like, I don't know. It's the fear of anything third party in crypto.
Yeah.
And then I heard, I think he was on with the ADFK crew, but he said on some interview that, you didn't have to connect your wallet, and it was just, mirroring what's shown on your wallet in like a public way. And I jumped in, and then it was from there. I was hooked. The strategy involved in it's a very deep, complex game. Um, it's a lot of fun.
So yeah, so let's talk about that because I'm very much curious as to what you would have to say on that. Because I've talked to some people who I've tried to talk into, joining any of the tournaments or even just trying Fight Club in general. Um, and I think for starters, at least for me, it's like, well, I don't want to invest any money into something I don't know how to play it. So
Hmm.
for those of you who are there and sort of unsure, um, you could probably confirm, right? You don't need to start playing in a tournament or putting any money in it whatsoever to sort of get into the game, right?
Right. Yeah, Tylus has set up an AI system where he put some heroes there that you could just practice against, but he's actually evolved it very recently where you can put different loadouts into the AI to fight against. So if you want to do a level 1 AI, you just load up 3 heroes and you can fight against them. So you can get really customize what you're doing to learn the game right again, against with no stakes, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the things I'm liking about the tournament for those of you who aren't in it or maybe interested, aren't sure, sort of on the edge here, the level of interaction that goes back and forth, the trolling, the
Hmm.
camaraderie, it's pretty fun. I mean, you don't get that from duels, and I know that's something they've talked about, but on the subject, for those of us who like duels but have not sort of taken the leap into Fight Club, what would you tell those people?
Yeah, I mean, big day for duels today too, with that being released. But
Right.
yeah, I think it's different because with duels, if you have great heroes, throw them in there, and you have a good chance of winning. But once you hit that submit button, it's kind of all right. The chips will fall as they may.
Right.
Whereas with Fight Club, you're the one making the decisions each turn, and I've seen lower level heroes, take down some pretty beefed up ones just by outplaying them. So I mean, I hope that's something that we see as an aspect of real PvP when it gets here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know they're aiming for that.
No, for sure. And and it's one of those things where I am I thought I had a literal, squad of Chads fighting in this tournament. And to my
Hmm.
surprise, Pouring literally has a hero named Chad. So I mean he so but it's one of those things, right, where you could have a really great squad, but if you don't know how to play them properly, if you've not practiced, or if you get outwitted, I mean, all it takes is one move, one turn. The game changes on you fairly quickly. I think that's super interesting. To me, any sort of surprises you've seen with the tournament thus far that maybe you didn't see in the other cup,
Well, so it's different than the other cup, right? Because looking at the rosters there, we didn't have many upsets in the past
right?
tournaments. And so while it is a game of parity, having those better heroes does definitely help. In this format, it's such a level playing field. There are a few heroes that are definitely the class of the tournament, but for the most part, everything's equal. One thing that really surprised me is how quickly everyone has picked it up, right? Because we had,
Right.
I think, 46 total, and I had never heard of at least 20 names on there. So I was kind of looking at the matchups like, oh, that's an easy win. That'll be done quick. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's just great gameplay on both sides in all these matches.
And you know what? When CryptoGrady jumps on, I want to hear his take on it. Did you watch the Around Cloud 7 CryptoGrady match by any
I
chance?
did, yes. Yeah, and
Wasn't that one just interesting? I mean,
yeah,
I was shocked at, in the direction it was going. And kudos to Around Cloud 7. I know he's been a co-host in the past. For coming in sort of cold, he made a name for himself, at least in my eyes. I mean, I was
definitely.
he almost took out Crypto Grady. And I think he was surprised as well. Both of them, I think, were surprised. But it goes back to one, the strategy of it all, and two, the sort of sheer luck that goes into it.
Hmm.
Um, Talk to me about interrupts, because for my games that totally was a game changer.
Yeah, well, there were more successful interrupts in your game with pouring than I've seen in any other match. There was a lot of meter on the board. Um, it's tough, right? Because a lot of people like to use that skill the first turn. They want to kind of get out to the advantage early. But if
Hmm.
you get interrupted on it and you're giving starting turn two, your opponent now has a full meter and can now access their stronger of their two attacks. It's really hard to come back from that. I mean, you got to hope that you get an interrupt the other way and kind of turn the tables back in your favor.
Yeah, 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 and that was hard for me. What I was trying to do was trying to double down. It's like, all right, you interrupted me the first time, fool me once, and then after the
Hmm.
fourth interrupt, I was like, geez, he knows what's coming, and I've sort of married to this decision because I've got no choice. I was so far behind at
Yeah.
that point in time.
Well, it's funny because you start playing mind games with yourself, right? It's like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
cleave is definitely the move to go with here, but he knows that that's the move to go with, so I'm going to go away from it. But maybe he knows that I'm going to go away from it, so I should just go with it. You could drive yourself crazy.
You totally and as I'm talking, another interrupt for the win. Um, there were jokes back and forth, in your opinion, and I think what's interesting. It's a very much sort of an evolving game. Do you think it is an OP move?
Oh, that was Maddie saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and yeah, I think he was teasing a little bit because I won over him with an interrupt.
Get out of here, funny.
It, it's definitely strong. I think that there needs to be some downside to using a skill because otherwise we'll see a skill every turn, right? So you need
Right.
some form of the interrupt. It used to be that if you had a successful interrupt, like say, so if you used cleave, I interrupted it successfully, you could then come right back with it the next turn. That's how it used to be. Now it
Mm,
still goes on cooldown. So maybe that adds a little bit too much power to it. I don't
yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it has to be an adjustment and not just, getting rid of it, obviously.
Right, right, right. I mean, and there's no perfect sort of way to go about it, I suppose. Um, as far as the tournament itself goes, any surprises as far as who's made it thus far that sort of maybe raised your brow, or vice versa, anyone who's been knocked out who you thought, hey, they'd probably make it deep into the tourney?
Um, hmm. Well, looking at it, Toes to Thee was a 25 seed made into the Sweet 16, but he is someone that has played in past tournaments.
Right.
Um, I'm trying to think who went down early. I feel like there was one that I was a little surprised at, but now that I'm looking at the bracket, nothing's jumping out to me. I mean, I think we rated it, we seeded it based on experience, based on, number of games played, because I think in this kind of format, that's really, you know, kind of what trumps everything else.
Yeah.
And so far, it seems like it's played out that way. So I guess that's a good thing. I don't know.
So how do you guys and I forgot who I heard maybe talk through this before, but remind me and maybe some other viewers, how do you guys determine bracket ranking?
Yeah, so in past tournaments when it's been kind of any level goes, or I think we had a level 12 cap on the last one, I'm not remembering. We just did total stats on the hero card for your 6 heroes, and ranked it that way. This tournament with all of them being level ones, there were a lot of ties with the stats on the card. So we
Yeah.
went with matches played, and then as a tiebreaker, we went with stats in the actual Fight Club game after the
Mm.
formulas have been applied. So it's something that's still evolving, though. We want to make it more complex and a little bit, maybe more in depth. But it's with it being the third tournament, we're just trying to get a few smooth ones under our belt before we do anything too crazy.
Yeah, so Baby Cup is the second iteration of the Fight Club tournaments that I'm aware of. Where did the tourney
Third,
idea come
actually,
from? Third
third
one.
one.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so where did the idea originate from? Who came up with that one? And
I forget
how?
who said it first, but we were sitting around, myself, Maddie, and Guy Kid were sitting around talking about the game and just about how raffle tickets are going to be coming in and
Mm.
that we needed those kind of stakes to really make it interesting. And then we thought, there are enough people bopping around the Discord that I think would be interested in, something a little bit more competitive. So the first tournament we had 12 people, and it was a struggle to even get that many. I was calling in favors through DM. Um, but then, it went well, and we doubled that in the second one. And now we're up to 46. So, we have some ideas for the future, maybe like league play, double elimination tournaments, maybe like a team of three type thing where you're playing with other people. Um, yeah, we don't know yet, but we want to do anything we can.
And that's pretty cool. The fact that I think it's something we've all been itching for, right? The idea of having um usability for our NFTs, and not just, I love duels. I love what it, sort of an in-game sort of way to sort of make your NFTs useful. But the fact that Fight Club is so versatile, and it you need so much strategy. Like I said, you could have a really amazing team on paper, but if you don't play that team the right way, or even get
Right.
lucky, I mean, you could be sort of SOL.
Yeah.
tell me, as far as any other ideas as far as the evolution of this room. I know you were teasing out, sort of trying to continue to work on it and sort of making it um sort of better after each tourney. Any alphas you'd like to share with us about any upcoming sort of things you're all working on?
So right now we have a website that we're looking to put together that's gonna show the tournaments in a little bit better, make them look a little, a little better, a little more aesthetically pleasing than
Yeah,
my
nice.
Google Doc that I'm just copy and pasting onto Twitter.
Yeah, yep.
Um, and that would probably, help a little bit as far as the management aspect of it goes. I took off work on Friday because I was putting the bracket together. So, can't be doing that too often.
Right.
But yeah, we're thinking it'll hold kind of the past tournaments and make the signups a little bit easier, and from there just kind of try different formats. I've had a ton of people DMing me saying, "Hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we try double elimination?" And it's like, yeah, like let's just talk about how we could do it to make it clean, and then let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, 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 look who we have in the house. Oh, he's coming on.
Yeah,
There he is.
baby. Yeah.
Crypto Grady himself.
How are we doing, people?
We're doing good. We're doing
Haha.
good.
I totally was going to interrupt, but I was like, you know what? He's going to interrupt me. I'll just fierce attack
Uh,
him. Mm.
Coming in fierce.
Oh, man.
I love it, Crypto
I
Grady.
love it.
Geez, let me take an opportunity. I know people may know you already, the both of you from your respective shows. Um,
Yeah.
let's remind our viewers about your respective shows. Franz, I know Boxside Chats, but tell us about the show and tell everyone how we could find you.
Yeah, so Boxside Chats on YouTube and on Twitter. It's myself, Matty Pesk, and Guy Kid, and C9N, who hasn't been on in a while, but he's still behind the scenes. Um, yeah, it's great. We hop on about once a week and talk about everything going on in the DFK universe.
Nice, nice. Now, Crypto Grady, you hop on about every 2 hours. Tell us about your show.
I love it. I love it, man. I love you. I was just double checking. Okay. All right. Raph is ready.
Oh,
I'll be on if you want.
do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
Okay.
let's
Go.
let's go. Let's hear it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, baby.
So
Okay.
your show, Crypto Grady, what is it? Is that the name of your YouTube channel? I guess I
Yeah,
don't
YouTube
know.
channel is
Is it?
just CryptoGrady,
Sweet.
and I love it. It's fun. It's mainly focused on DeFi kingdoms, baby, and
Nice.
just because I'm kind of a late bloomer in the game. Let's see. Oh, all right. We're coming on. All right. I'll focus here, and then
Here
we'll
we
talk.
go.
Then
We'll
we'll
let
talk
you we'll
all
let you
things.
focus, and while we're letting you focus, France, let's go ahead and help Crypto Grady not focus and sort of critique his every
Yeah, you
move.
guys. I love it. Okay.
This
He totally
is
switched up his team.
this is
Interesting.
game 2, right?
He's going tanks. Yeah.
Nice. What room are you in?
Um,
Room B, it looks like.
Battle Room B is
B.
in boy. You got
Okay. All right. Let's check that out.
okay, so he's got an ice blast. Interesting.
He may be watching the stream and
That's
just
okay.
gathering all this alpha. So you keep your moves to yourself.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so he's got ice blast, aim
or
shot.
or do some counterintelligence. Just feed him bad information. I mean,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
make him think.
I love it. Yeah, right.
That's a pretty juicy team there. Two sages and a dragoon.
I know, right? So
French.
I can't wait
Yeah,
to talk strategy like on this
yeah.
tournament specifically and just in general. once I'm able to focus more.
Yeah, Grady, if you win, we play each other next. So please talk all the strategy you want. I got
Oh,
my notepad out and
yeah,
ready
Yeah.
to go over here.
All
nice.
right.
Wow,
Hey,
what a
we can play tonight if I happen to win. I love it.
oh,
Man.
that's a tough go around. So for you, friend, it's rap for CryptoGrady. I don't know which of the two I would want to fight.
Yeah, neither, neither
I
of them.
know,
You
right?
run the gauntlet here.
Hmm.
So how did while CryptoGrady's fighting here, Franz, how did you pick your team? And maybe not how did you pick your team, but how much sort of homework did you put into your team? Were you just trying to pick level ones? I doubt that's the case. Sort of walk me through some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I made a few mistakes that I've realized as we've been going through the matches, but my focus was I wanted aimed shot as my subclass for any frontline hero, so an archer sub, and I was big on the element.
Yeah.
Ice and earth are the two elements that boost your HP, but ice takes it away from your agility, whereas earth takes it away from your charge. And with all
Oh.
these heroes having such low charge, the minus 10% charge came out to 1 point. So that wasn't really going to make a difference, whereas the agility, it took a decent chunk more off. So I have a lot of earth elements. One thing I really messed up with, I left it. I did not take a sage. I was looking for one a few days ago, couldn't find an element I liked, and just forgot. I should have just bought any old one just to have one, because I'm seeing they're kind of ruling things so far. So,
Oh, they totally are. I made it through a couple of rounds, I think. And in each round, my Sage was, I think, the MVP of each of the teams. And I had two. I never pulled a crypto grade, two Sages and a Dragoon, um, but it makes you think. I can't see, especially for a tournament where there are a bunch of level ones. One heal can really change up the
hmm
game.
well, that was your game, the Pink Bun Sage, correct?
Yes,
That
that's
was,
right. Yep,
we
yep,
have our
yep, yep.
first hero celebrity. But yeah, you were using that attune and healing just constantly, and Justice Beaver was getting you down low, thinking he was finally done with you, and then you were healing almost back to full health.
Yeah. The life tap, man. Was
hmm
that I've watched so many matches. Was that your fight when you were using the life tap?
Yeah, let me
Mm.
let me mute those beeps. I just saw the chat box, all these beeps coming in. Let me hide this. Oh, I think
Yeah,
I think
baby.
this takes care of the beeps for you all. Thank you much.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was my computer beeping like crazy or
Yeah, I was
No, no,
checking
my
mine in the
computer is
background
beeping
too.
like yeah, my computer is beeping like crazy too. Thanks for pointing that out, Crowd. I think that should be the end of that. If it's not, um, did you guys hear that one?
No,
Nope.
I
I
think we're
hope
good
not.
now.
Okay,
Yeah, I haven't
sweet,
heard
beautiful.
anything.
Good, good,
Big
good.
attune from Grady in that
Decisions,
last turn there in turn 3.
decisions.
No, much
Mm.
appreciated to you guys, Cooper. I need to keep an eye on multiple screens here. Uh, Let me see. What was this last one here?
Yeah, it's not easy managing all this while talking. Maddie does all of it for us. He hosts,
Yeah.
and he was out a few times. And I'm like, yeah, I could do it. Hosting's easy. And I was sweating by the end of the podcast.
Oh,
It's a lot of
yeah,
work.
try and do one of these on lives. Part of me is that, hey, I don't want to do the going back and editing stuff. Let me be lazy about it and sort of do stuff on the fly. But then you do that and you get things like beeps. So super
Oh,
curious. Who's your dedicated
you just
intern?
nailed it.
Is that like a troll thing, or do you guys actually have an intern?
Non-paid intern. So just to be clear,
Okay,
no,
non-paid.
no.
Hey, those are still awesome.
Yeah. No, no, it's a friend of ours, and he actually came up with the intern shtick, and we like to joke around, so we're gonna keep riding that. But no, he's the one that's actually doing the coding. I don't know if you've seen the Stone Carver bot
Yes,
on
such a
Twitter.
useful bot.
Yeah,
Such a
he
useful
made
bot.
that in. I mentioned it to him like, hey, this would be really cool because I keep missing the stone carver, and I think like 4 hours later, he's like, okay, I have it mostly done. I just have like one or two more things. I'm like, oh, all right,
Wow.
great.
Yeah, you're hired. We'll pay you and thank yous.
Yeah, exactly.
So AMA stuff, while we're watching this take place, I know you were super busy, super swamped there, friends. Maybe you too, CryptoGrady. I was in the midst of transitioning jobs, so I was sort of half there, half not. But from what you all were maybe able to catch, what all did you like, maybe dislike about what took place? Anything that jumps to mind, France?
Yeah, I think the big thing was obviously the C jewel and the way that's gonna work. I don't know that there were too many surprises, but it was
Yeah.
nice to get a little bit more detail. They mentioned that it's gonna be mimicking, or not mimicking exactly, but it's gonna be akin to the curve token, the V token.
Yeah, are you
Um,
familiar with that? I heard that and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
yeah, so I'm far, far from an expert, but I did read up on the curve wars a little bit. Uh,
Mm,
that was that was more about a different part of Curve that they allow votes for what pools get incentivized, and then there were other companies or other coins that would buy your voting rights if you stake with them, and it was just layers upon layers of like Ponzonomics that turned into a pretty good system. I don't think
mm.
we're gonna be seeing all that in the DFK ecosystem, but it's the idea that you can lock your C jewel and or lock your jewel into C jewel and get a higher, more weighted payout. I think is really cool and should make it so there's not as much liquid jewel floating around. Hopefully, very good for the price.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I think about it, it makes Jewel at 17 cents seem ever more
Hmm.
appealing. Um, I'll use one of Crypto Grady's favorite phrases, NFA. Um, but it just Jewel just seems so tempting. I don't. I see Crystal. I get it. I see its utility. Um, but long term, just Jewel seems more attractive to me. I could be
Yep.
very wrong, obviously. But it's just this new sort of feature they're rolling out just makes it ever more appealing. So I take it you friend, you Crypto Grady are locking in your Jewel for what, 3 years? Is that correct assumption?
Did he say we don't have the option to? Um, do we not have an option on that?
It sounds like we have an option that goes for several, um, 100 plus days.
Like, I mean,
And
I'm sorry, an option to choose two at once. Like, could we put some in for 3 years, some in for 1 year, some in for 6 months, or is
yeah,
it
yeah,
all or nothing? Do
yeah,
you
all
know?
or nothing. Yeah, I didn't catch that, and I
Okay.
don't understand that
Yeah,
either.
I think so. I think they said that it's all or nothing as far as if you
Mm,
want to change the timeline, you have to withdraw and put it back in. If you're adding funds that you want, because I was originally thinking like I'd take a small amount and put it on the 3 year, because why not?
yeah.
But yeah, not going to be doing that with all of my jewel.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could conceivably have an alt account and have some jewel
Oh,
there and lock that in for a very long time,
very
right?
true.
Yeah. Um, is it ideal? I mean, I guess it's up to you. I mean, how many of us don't have several, more than one account? But but it's an option, I suppose. Is
Yeah.
that something you were thinking about doing, Crypto Greedy Friends? Doing sort of multiple. I hadn't thought about that, but as I say it, it sounds ever more intriguing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I didn't think of that either, but I think I probably will be doing it. Um, I think the locking might be good for me in the end because I with the old X Jewel and with X Crystal, I tried to stack it up, especially back around Crystal Veil time when there were all those airdrops, and
Yeah.
I see a good hero on the market and I just can't stop myself. So locking it up where I can't touch it, I think will be very healthy for me.
I hear you.
Look at that. Look at
Hey,
that final,
congrats.
baby.
There we go. Send into
Round
game
3.
3.
It's on.
Oh,
What do you guys think? That
I I
game,
I
That was
jeez.
close.
he did the plunder and it did damage. So he was really, man, that pirate was packing a punch.
Mm-hmm.
That almost like, that was crazy. Because I was just going to interrupt him out. And that,
Right.
but I had to think twice about it. That's why.
I
Yeah,
I ha
because
I have to ask you, CryptoGrady. So, I'm sort of reminiscing on your Round Cloud 7 match. I was talking to friends about it. You hit that heel at the very end. Was that inadvertent on purpose? I mean, sort of walk me through your thought process on that one.
So, okay. Um, when I was looking at it, and I hate how like when it ends, it kind of blocks out the video ends. And for some reason, I thought my front line guy was damaged, but my back line
Ah,
guy was damaged. But it worked out. Like, had I been faster, I would have healed myself with 100 health.
yeah,
That's what I was like, no.
oh,
So it still worked out. And I should have won. Like, if I would have, I was going to interrupt, but then last second I changed my mind. I'm like, no, I'm going to fierce attack because he's going to try and interrupt me. Uh, and I was wrong.
yeah.
I knew I should have interrupted him.
How
Yeah,
are you liking your
second guessing.
stages?
yeah,
Second
yeah.
guessing, right?
I
Second
know it.
guessing.
Right. Okay.
Jeez.
We're already on
Yeah,
again.
which back on which room?
Okay. Hang on here. I missed it. Or can I still confirm? Okay. Yeah.
Here we
Room
go.
A,
Battle
baby.
room. Hey, let's go
Here
All
we
check that
right.
go.
out.
Good luck, Grady.
Hey, thanks, man. So we're playing each other if I win.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. So really talk out all your moves here. Let's get into the mind of CryptoGrady.
No, I'd be happy to talk about what I think he's gonna do.
Oh, what do you
Playing
think
the
he's
rock,
gonna
paper,
do?
scissors game.
Ah, yes.
Is he gonna like so last match he started right away with the plunder. And that I think paid dividends for him.
See,
Hmm.
and that's the trick, right? You gotta. I get in my head. That's my problem.
Yep, totally.
So,
Yeah.
as far as prize pool or prizes, Grady, if Crypto Grady, if you win it all, I take it you're opting for one of your summons. Is that what you're thinking, or?
You know it, baby. Oh,
Ooh,
that's
big
right. He's
first
got an
turn.
ice block.
Wow.
A
That's
lot of
right.
damage flying around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah, both ways. Wow.
Yeah, I'll take one of my summons as the prize pool. And just to clarify, so the winners they don't get a summons. Is that right or no?
That's right. So they get
Okay,
jewel
because they
only
get the
prizes.
yes.
And shout
Mhm.
out also to Tylus, the creator of Fight Club, because we originally released the prize numbers in terms of a 64 person bracket. We really wanted to get there. We fell short at 46, and Tylus messaged me and was like, "Hey, give me the address. I'm gonna fill out the rest of it." So we have that
Wow.
full 64 person prize pool. I mean, between that, between Grady with his contributions, Sir Worm, the ADFK guys, like the prizes are what are drawing people in. And I think they're all hanging around and liking it once they are in. So I mean, that's great.
So I have to ask the two of you. I was thinking through this question myself this afternoon. as I was running around, doing stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, streaming later tonight. Um, why do you guys do it? Because clearly, unless you guys are aware of something and I'm totally doing it wrong, like there's no money in it for any of us. So why are you guys streaming? I mean, what keeps you going?
I will be pumped to answer that here in a bit.
Oh, go for
Yes,
it. Yeah, no, yeah,
that's a
but
good
Franz.
question.
Yeah,
That
he's
yes,
got to focus right now.
Oh, I don't blame you.
yeah.
How about, but you, Franz.
Yeah.
I mean, what keeps you going?
No, I mean it's just fun. I like it, and if we're gonna be talking about the game all day long anyway,
Yeah,
why not? And I think DFK, you know, there's room for more people to be doing things like this. I like listening to DFK content, and I very early in the week run out of shows to listen to. So
right.
it's I would like a few more to get me through my commute.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I hear you. That's part of why I think I may have said this once before. That's part of why I do it. Um, it's it and for me, unlike you, friends, and my in real life friends don't much care for crypto. They don't much care for DFK, let alone. So it's an opportunity to sort of really get to chat up people who are interested in sort of some of your same hobbies. With that said, it sort of reminds me because I forgot about it. I wanted to mention it earlier, but I'll mention it now. Um, I had put out a feeler out there for anyone who was maybe interested in a DFK get together here in the San Diego area. And to my surprise, I had a few people reach out and say, "Hey, I was interested," or "I'm interested."
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And to top it off, Pieface reached out to say, "Hey, let me know when that's taking place. Let me know, how many people, and I'm more than happy to go ahead and, put together like a merch goodie bag, which is super awesome."
Oh,
Um, with that said, I would encourage you, the two of you, to maybe do something like that if you guys were up for it, wanted to. I know it's maybe a bit different for the two of you. For me, like I said, it's sort of the desire to meet more like-minded people. Um, so something to think about. And just talking to other DFK DJs, that's super super cool, super awesome. I guess the other reason I sort of do this as well is one of those things. Maybe it's sort of twofold. For me, it's like, yeah, I want to talk about it, but if I'm not talking about it, and if people aren't talking about it, then is the project so you know alive? Is it worth
hmm
sort of getting into? Um, I think, right. If you build it, they will come. But if people don't know you're building something, are they actually gonna come? So trying to get the word out, yeah, it's sort of maybe a bit selfish on my end. But hey, let's talk more about it. Let's talk about the project. And there's so much that happens on a sometimes daily basis. It's hard to sort of wrap your head around, and it's nice to be able to talk to people about it and sort of get their opinions and learn from each other. So super super cool. I'll keep doing it until it stops becoming fun, is what I keep saying. So until then, I'm here for a minute.
Yeah, I mean that's the right way to do it, right? As long as you're enjoying it, keep doing it. Um, I think you're definitely right though about they could be building, they could be doing great stuff, but if people don't hear about it, if they don't know about it, it's kind of like what's the point of it, right?
Right,
So I think
right.
that fills a definite need. I also think the team lately seems on Twitter at least, they've seemed like they've really started being more outgoing and interacting with different members of the community a lot more, and I think that's great. I mean,
Oh my
everybody
God,
loves the game in
yeah.
this community. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about what, but I saw and I think I saw some of this with you guys as well. I saw Frisky Fox interacting with many of us on Twitter, and he does it on a regular basis in DFK Discord. But I was sort of impressed to see some more of that interaction. it's nice to have a team that's sort of involved in that way. So kudos to them in that regard.
Yeah, and Bolon can't forget him joining the tournament.
I
That
know.
was awesome.
Yeah, it
What a,
was. I loved it.
yeah. I mean, I'd love to see more of them join in the future. I was sort of joking with him. It's like, hey, how do we bully more of you guys to join? And I didn't quite tell him that, but if I had the liquid courage, I probably would have. I mean, but it's nice. It's nice. It's one thing for them to be supportive and say, "Hey, we're supporting what you're all doing as content creators." It's a whole nother thing, to sort of, um, yeah, they're so busy, right? To sort of even give us the time
Mhm.
to sort of entertain our question of, "Hey, would you be willing and able to join attorney?" And then saying me yes, and logging on, and super cool, super awesome. Um, any I just I can't sort of uh it almost, for me, it almost feels like an elephant in the room, but any 2 cents on sort of some of the movements within the team over the last week. And I say it because I had Jacksicles on as a guest
Mhm.
a while back ago. And I'll go first just by saying that when I heard, yeah, I feel bad for anyone sort of departing something. I could hear the passion in him. I sort of got that from him for sure. I guess my first thought was, oh no, what about the continuity of the lore and sort of the story building? Um, my impression from the AMA is that they're looking to sort of maybe retain some of that once sort of things normalize. I don't know if I maybe misunderstood things, but um, it sounded like not a forever goodbye, but maybe sort of at least in the interim while things normalize. Did I get that right? Did I understand that all right?
Yeah, I think that's how I understood as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's tough.
I think he's
It's
got me, guys.
oh,
Yeah,
wait.
He's got me here. Man.
does he?
Lightning
It's
strike.
going.
Because all he has to do is interrupt me out.
Oh yeah, you used blitz and took down the sage. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Uh I don't know. It's pretty even in how. Oh no, no. Okay. Yeah, I spoke before I saw the auto attack hit.
Right.
You've got 20 seconds to make your move.
Yeah. It's not responding.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Ooh,
Oh, what
was
did
that
he?
an attempt to interrupt? Oh, okay.
I knew
You're
he would
not.
just, all he's got to do is interrupt. And
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah.
And Raph is a an experienced player. I don't think he would miss the interrupt on the last.
Right.
I've seen some people get greedy and do a fierce attack on that last turn.
yeah. Yeah, it's game over. All he's just going to interrupt. So there's nothing really I can do. Except
What's the
might as
equivalent
well,
of?
All
in
three
case.
games down to the wire though.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no kidding. And that's what's really great about Fight Club is, you think you won that first game maybe, or first round, without
Hmm.
any issue, but then
Hmm.
it humbles you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it
There
does.
you go.
Like last time when I fought pouring, I was so sure I was going to the finals and gonna smoke everyone. And he just destroyed me. And I had
Yeah.
such jacked heroes. I had a level 16 thief that was so jacked. My archer, like my three guys with stats, especially my top two guys, had the most. Yeah, that was fun. Had
Yeah.
my top two guys
Pouring
had by far the most stats of any hero in the whole game. in the tournament.
Yeah, you were just learning the game at that point,
Yeah.
though. I think when the next heavyweight tournament comes around, I think you might
Uh,
fare a little bit differently in that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But as far as pouring goes, that guy is a beast. I have been talking to him for a while, and I mentioned Fight Club to him, I wanna say close to 6 or 7 times, and he was very hesitant, and then he
Yeah.
finally got in and played a match, and I woke up the next morning and had about 20 DMs from him asking about elements, about different
Oh
skills, order
my
of
god.
he was just completely hooked,
Wow.
and now he's the only person that's played over 100 matches, when we looked at the matches played, so, yeah.
Wow. How did I guess let me I guess finish the thought and then we'll go back to a question from earlier. Just I'll hit up on what Cooper was saying. Yeah, it's sad to see team leaving. Hopefully they come back, and I agree with you. Yeah, it's nice to sort of see the passion in some of our devs, and if they can come back and are willing to, yeah, I'd love to see them back myself. And sort of going back to what I was mentioning or talking through earlier, CryptoGrady. Um,
Yeah.
two questions. I'll start with my first one. How did you end up building your team? It sounded like Franz had a very well placed strategy. I, on the other hand, was like, I want a Sage, I want a Dragoon, and I
Yeah.
didn't think twice about any of the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I was planning on using my mythic. So in the tournament, I had a legendary warrior that decks with a dex stone. I had I had a mythic pirate and a mythic thief also. And I just kept coming back to in this tournament, it's you want to be having first of all guys that have skills with no meter required on both on really on all three lines. That way, um, they have to try and predict what you're going to do, and also with the most damage given, because it's such a big difference having a 90 damage or a 75 damage on something uh, on when their meter is so low, like
Yeah.
you have just level one heroes. So my strategy was to be mostly offensive, like not do too much. I think what I saw was too much swapping and too much, which is probably why I lost that last one. I thought it worked out well that I swapped and put my almost dead Sage in the back. But see, when you swap, you're basically skipping a potential move. And but when speed, see, he had me on the speed, so that's why I swapped. So my thought is don't do too much interrupting, because if you miss, it's almost like you're screwed. If you interrupt the wrong one and he still gets a skill off, um, it's just like not necessarily game over, but it could be almost game over if you miss the interrupt. Versus if you get interrupted, okay, you give the meter now, depending on like if they have a cleave or something, which he didn't. I was surprised. Raph didn't have a cleave on those last two battles. So I was like, hey, I'll take on the tanks because I have the moves that will put on so much damage. You know what I'm saying? And so what I saw was too much interrupting, too much swapping, and be more aggressive. Um, and probably so I really wanted to use the warrior with cleave, and I just kept almost putting him in, and I don't know. I just kept coming back to I want the two. First of all, having a sage up front and middle, like I did, you're charging your meter like crazy, and it
Mm,
gives you an extra potential move when that meter's charged. Um, and so I knew I had a massive advantage because on both those sages, the stone and the blue and the green, both on both heroes hit on either intelligence or wisdom. So I was just jacked. I had 20 intelligence on one and 20 wisdom on the other, and 15, 15.
So,
And
and that's interesting, CryptoGrady, and I want to hear your take on this, friend. So I had two sages on my team and a dragoon. I never pulled the two sages out. But my thought was when if I did, I would put my dragoon up front because he was my tank. My thought was I need someone to absorb all those hits, and then let my sages do the work from the back end. I mean, which route would you go, friends?
Yeah, I thought about trying to put a caster up front and really accumulate that charge, but I'm thinking the same way as you that I want the beef up front. I get very worried about losing a hero early and going down 3-2, so I'm always trying to protect the squishier ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good point. If you can get to that meter faster, it really puts your opponent back on their heels.
Yeah, and when you drop 90 damage, it's
Hmm.
like all of a sudden they're not a tank anymore. It's like
Right.
Right.
they're more than half dead right off the bat. And so that's that. Now that's a good game plan for normal Fight Club play, I would say.
Right.
But in
Right.
this, it's all about offense fast. Be offensive fast.
Knock him out.
So, and so I had in my front, I had the Ice Blast and so I actually had two options of moves. If the guy was slower than me up front, then I won't worry about Ice Blast off the bat. If he's faster than me, I'll consider using Ice Blast early, like first move,
Right.
and that'll slow him down. Now I'll be faster. Uh, unless I think so. Some guys just interrupt like crazy, and then that's when I would consider using my uh, second line lightning strike sage because
CryptoGrady, I've got a surprise guest
yeah,
for
get
you
Raph
here.
on. I just text him. I said, get on
Okay,
here.
there we go. He's on. He's here.
Hey guys.
Raph.
Raph.
Hey, so
Hey.
I was on the show while the battle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No way.
Yeah.
He was.
I had to turn the show off when I was gonna play. I had to be in the
Uh-huh.
zone and like get the distractions out. So
I
You
was.
did
I
it.
was. I was telling CryptoGrady he needed to do some reverse dropping false information. Give us the
I
moves
wasn't
you
even
aren't
on.
gonna use.
Yeah, I knew you'd be completely focused by yourself in a quiet room.
That's
No,
how
like-
it was. Yeah.
And
Uh,
when I got the lightning strike off towards the end and got your dragoon killed, I thought I had it, but man, you are a beast.
Thanks.
That was such a well
I
played.
got Franz next, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
He's on. This is
Yeah.
Franz. He's on.
Yeah, Raph, I was watching that very closely. I'm probably going to watch it about 3 more times before we fight. So,
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to play tonight, but yeah, I gotta watch your videos and see what team you're up against. So or what
yeah, we
team
could
I'm up
save that
against.
for tomorrow.
Yeah,
So-
sounds
I
good.
watched Franz. I watched yours like 4 times just to be ready for you.
Oof.
All right, so I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Watch opponents' matches before you fight them. That sounds like a good. That sounds good. That sounds smart.
Yes, because some guys tend to interrupt more than others. Some guys are more aggressive than others, and so it totally changes up the strategy.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
would love to see analytics on that from
Yeah.
Tylus.
Yeah.
If you could see if someone's a high interrupt player or a high skill user, that'd be great.
Yeah. I love it.
Wow.
I think pretty soon we're going to be capturing all of that and throwing it in a database. We
cool.
don't have that yet, but that's our dream. I mean, that's where I built the initial BI page for just giving us some breakdowns of the hero stats and the player stats. But that absolutely is where I'm wanting to take the analytics side of things. So yeah,
Awesome.
we'll get there.
Yeah, I was blown away by how tanky your pirate. So I had a mythic pirate with a stone and a mythic thief and a legendary warrior with a dex stone.
Dang.
And I kept almost putting him in, and I would even try him out for a second, and I'd be like, I don't think so. I want to
So-
stick with my aggressive mindset with
Lightning
this
strike
tournament
strategy. Yeah.
specifically. Yeah,
What subclasses were your heroes? Raph, we can start with you, and then I'm curious, CryptoGrady.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the hero. My pirate that we were just talking about, he was archer subclass. Um, Trying to tap into to wizard in a few places. Of course, my dragoon was a thief. So I was really going for the 0 meter damage skills for as many subclasses as I could for
that's
my
right. We
my
just talked
heroes.
about that before you came on. Yeah. And so I had a wizard. So I had a sage with a wizard subclass and a priest
Yeah,
subclass, which I didn't like the priest subclass, especially for this tournament.
yeah,
You get
I hear
45,
you.
even if you get the full 45 heal. I mean, that's good still.
Rarely will it impact the game the same way that you're better off playing lightning strike or a tune. You know.
Yes. So I actually wish I could have had my other sage up front, but the reason why, because he was faster and more powerful, both
Mm.
Hmm.
the mid sage. But I put the one in the front because if I can get to threaten to have a stronger threat in front of being able to use 2 no-meter skills up front, which could, because in the back, your back guy can't use the skill from the subclass. He can only use one of his 2 main skills. So, and not the subclass skill. So I wanted to be able, if I get the first skill off, I still have another skill, and that's ice blast and lightning.
Right.
And so that's why I left him up front the whole, and I kept wanting to take that guy out because he was really jacked on wisdom, which if you're jacked in this tournament, which is good for the meter. That was another reason why to have him up front, but he's the squishiest sage between the two. And so it's not your best frontline guy, but he does charge the meter mega time, 20 and 15
Yeah.
on the wisdom and intelligence. So, and he
Yeah.
had the lightning, so I just left him. Yeah.
You were building that meter, that's for sure.
So and I'm curious to hear from the four of us. Thus far, and we're not done with the tournament yet, but I know Raph and sort of Franz, Neindorf, Guy Kid. I think you guys all did a here's who the premier heroes will be. I mean, is that standing true for you all? Are you thinking the ones that are rocking it during the tournament were the ones you guys would be doing just as well beforehand?
Not necessarily. For this tournament is a different animal, I would say, from main end game,
Right.
but it's
Yeah,
still similar. Yeah. Go ahead, Raph. Yeah.
Raph.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you thinking so far?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we broke that down with the Power BI page, and I feel like while we did get to see exactly to CryptoGrady's point, while we did get to see some stratification of like this hero is stronger than this hero, I feel like it comes down to lineup in a match, um, guessing game of are you going to guess interrupt right or are you going to dodge their interrupt, and then kind of lastly overall just what research you're doing on the opponent's team. I think those three things combined for what's helping us see who's making it on to the next rounds.
Franz, how about you? What are you thinking so far on these heroes?
Yeah, definitely agree that in this format more than the other, it comes down to the player. But I I don't know, Raph. I think we were pretty spot on as far as those tiers go.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
got to have a sage and a
especially
dragoon. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Sage and the Dragoon, and then with the subclasses, Wizard and Archer, just Thief good too because it has that 0 meter damage, but
Yeah.
the aim shot and ice blast are kings.
Yeah, you're spot on. I tried to talk Neindorf out of the ninja strategy. I
Yeah.
He was so excited
But
about it
his
though.
ninja had an ice blast, though. That's what
Yeah,
made it.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's where I feel like he or I should say he felt like we compromised. Is that he was doing the ice guys? Don't tell him I said this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to I love the love Gen ones or level one strategy because I feel like we're finding this super balanced meta where it is so much more skill based, decision based than the metas before. But at the same time, I'm also looking forward to the higher level meta because that also opens up the opportunity for so many more classes. Right now, I feel like Sage. If you don't have a Sage and a Dragoon, like actually I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but that's something that I'd be interested to look at. You know, how many people are in the current round without both a Sage and Dragoon? I don't know. Franz, what are you rocking?
Yeah, I was saying before you hopped on that I was planning to add a sage and I couldn't find one with the right element and I was putting it off, and then completely just forgot to get one. So I don't have a sage.
Mm.
Um, but I do have a dragoon, and I don't know that any of the teams left are using neither. I think
Right,
Mm.
right,
everyone has at least one. So
right.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like if somebody had a warrior and 2 archers that were jacked level
They,
ones.
they could be making it with that combination. I
Yep.
Hmm.
think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
think
that
it's
might be the only combination that I think
Yeah.
ends up making it in.
And maybe a
Warriors.
Dark Knight, man. I still think Dark Knights, if you play them right, can just be mega. Um, but Warrior and
Are
Cleave,
so slow in this tournament. So
yeah,
They are. They are.
yeah,
speed,
Yeah, and what I will say is that I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about a baby cup, but the more I think about it, while I like the other format, I think the idea of a baby cup is such a brilliant move, and I'll tell you why. If you're new to the game, not just Fight Club, if you're new to DFK, you can jump in, pick
yep,
up some good level ones,
yep,
which you can find a lot of Flora heroes that considerably might be good. Um, and make it past a round or two. I mean,
yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, and that I mean, there are none of us that had level ones lying around, right? Like we're all leveling our heroes as soon as
right.
right.
there's a chance to. So I think everyone kind of rushed to the tavern or rushed to the summoning circle, and maybe somebody had a greater stone. I don't know if we've checked that, if any greater stones were used.
I
Um,
thought about buying a regular stone. Yeah,
yeah.
yep,
Yeah, so I mean, that would be the slight advantage you could find, but when you're summoning, I mean, you don't know that you're going to get that exact element subclass that you want,
right.
so there's risk there too. So really was a truly even playing field.
Yeah,
Yep. And hey, so Raph, that first round, man. So
yeah.
I was totally going to interrupt you, and then last minute I was like, you know what? He's going to just try and interrupt me, so I'll just do a fierce attack. and sure
uh,
enough, you actually used a skill on me, and you won that
I
first
feel
round.
like I
Like,
got
oh
lucky. I
man,
feel like I got lucky on that first
that
round.
was so well done, man.
Man,
I feel like any of these matches, if not all of them, between the three rounds, those interrupts make or break. You know,
they come down to one or two plays. It's
yes,
so darn close.
It
yes.
That
it
and
really
that attune in round two that you had, CryptoGrady, like I mean, I was like, "Oh, son of a gun!" Like that was I didn't even like fathom it. It was like you galaxy brained me, and I was like, "Holy moly! Like where did this come from?" I was like, "Oh, I got wrecked."
I think my favorite turn of your matchup, I think was it game 3 that Grady, you switched and then Raph cannon barrage to switch you right back and take the sage out.
Yeah,
That
Uh,
was oh
yeah. It's that was good. I
or
think you'd take me if we played
I
like out
blitzed.
of
I
10
blitzed.
times. Yeah,
I blitzed him with the dragoon, I think, and then your
that's
cannon
right.
barrage put it right back.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I thought Grady had it coming into the matchup. Just looking at those sages and dragoons,
Oh.
I was I'm happy with the outcome, although I shouldn't say that because now
Ah, and
that's gonna
hey,
bite me. That's gonna
so
bite me now. But
this is also what blew me away. Well, I was just going to say this a little bit ago. Your dragoon was uncommon, and I was like, man, you have a jacked uncommon dragoon because mine is legendary, and I used a stone on dex. So that one also stone dex. And so I just thought my Dragoon is so jacked. But sure enough, man, your Dragoon is stout.
scouring the tavern.
Yeah. Wow. You picked just the right one. I love it.
I can't help but imagine, Frisky Fox listening to this conversation, just sitting in his rocking chair, Austin Powers-esque, right? Where it's like, brilliant, all these people summoning and buying stones, and I mean, up until now, I really hadn't had intentive in wanting to summon or even pick up more heroes necessarily. It wasn't but for this tournament where I was like, okay, well now I want to try and summon. Now I want to, I bought stones, and it's good for the ecosystem, I think, and
Yes.
I think future tournaments, um, what was good now, whoever ends up winning, I'm sure someone's gonna try and outdo them by summoning or buying better heroes than what the winner had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
utility is a crazy thing, right? It
It's so
makes you
good.
want to play and do more.
That's right. It makes you buy more heroes, just like you just said. It makes people get more engaged in the game. All of it. It's so good. It's so just awesome. All the
So,
things happening in this game are so awesome. So
Fran,
many good things. Yeah.
yeah, France, how do you guys plan on, or is there any plans for raffle ticket integration for these tournaments?
Yeah, we're working on that. Actually, we're waiting on a response from the Fight Club team right now. Joseph, aka Brad Pitt, aka Conix. He is he's working with that team on a regular basis. And so we actually have a proposed system that would then allow us to wager Jewel or wager Crystal, whichever we choose to do. And then it would allow you to earn raffle tickets. And so our plan is that if you wager raffle tickets, and we're kind of basing, I have actually not done a duel yet since they've been released on Crystal Vale. So I don't know what the potential economic changes have been, but like going back to the Serendale jewels, if you had a 9 hero war team set up, you would take 9 jewel, and if you won that war, you would earn 1,600 jewel back. And if you
Wow.
lost the war, you would earn, or excuse me, if you won the war, you would earn 1,600 tickets.
Yeah,
and if
That's
you
right. Yep,
lost
yep, yep.
the war, you would lose, or excuse me, you would gain 200 tickets. And so we've created the same kind of incentive structure around this. And so it's going to be a little different at starters. So I believe we're going to have the feature to wager player versus player, but the focus, and this was, I mean, the genius of Brad Pitt here, is that create a raffle ticket system around PVE. And so this is going to be the focus next, is that you can, and I put it in air quotes here, stake your pets as the PVE feature here. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your pets and registering them just like you do your heroes. And you're going to be creating these loadouts, these teams of pets, just like you can do with your heroes right now. And those loadouts of pets are going to be put into a pool of all the possible pets that people can fight against. And then, just like you see people fighting against AI today, what you can do is you can line up, click the battle button, pay 10 jewel or whatever the equivalent is in crystal, pay 10 crystal, and then what happens is you fight off against someone's pet team that they loaded up. If you win, you get 1,600 raffle tickets. If you lose, you get 200 raffle tickets. Now, here's the part where this gets really freaking exciting for me, is that the person who staked those pets, and I, again, stake in air quotes because you're never losing control of those pets. The person who owns the team of pets that potentially win that battle, if the pets win that battle, they get raffle tickets. And so it's a way for you to earn passive income in the game. So
Wow.
don't tell
Unreal.
Mosh, don't tell Starbucks, don't tell Justice Beaver. And
I-
Keep them
honestly,
out
at
of
this time, earmuffs CryptoGrady, because I've seen you drop some legendary pets here.
I did.
We got to keep those beefy pets out of here.
I'm
So
I'm I'm
that's what we got going on.
I'm convinced anytime anyone says pets, those four individuals, including you, CryptoGrady, like your ears just perk up. Whether or not you're listening, it's there. That's
I love it.
awesome. That's amazing.
I'm really excited about
We're
it.
It
gonna
sounds
need like
Yeah.
awesome.
10 more battle rooms.
Oh
The
yeah,
3 battle rooms is not going to be enough.
Yep, that's right. I had that
yeah,
thought too. I love
and
it, man.
and then
I got a bloater this week. I got a legendary bloater 1 of 7 in the game.
Whew,
oh,
unreal.
that's awesome.
Yes.
But taking a moment to sorry, steal the mic here, and just also
No.
pitch some other things we have going on. Um, I think all three of the people here are ADFK guild members, which is something new that we're kind of starting to roll out. And I know Franz, Guy Kid, and Neindorf have some ideas around how can we make the tournament experience more enjoyable. So I know that they are working on these brilliant minds that are good at developing things on the web. I think also the Blogside Chat intern are working on developing some more web interfaces when it comes to setting up tournaments, which I'm really looking forward to. So it's not, I mean, this has been, I don't know about you, Franz, but like going back and forth for me, I've been like re-uploading my Power BI like every 10
Mhm.
minutes and like going into the Google Sheets that you shared with me. I mean, it is a massive pain right now. So just having some of that streamlined and organized, I think we'll start to unlock the ability to have more tournaments more frequently. Really looking forward to that.
Man.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mentioned before you got on here that I took off work on Friday to
Yeah.
be playing
Yeah.
around with the brackets. So,
Ooh.
yeah, no, it'll be a lot better once we can automate a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't tell my work. I did too.
big shout out to you doing all that, France. Man, it's awesome. And your
It-
channel, Boxside Chats, is awesome. This tournament, you guys are the bomb. I love how you guys have handled everything.
And
Thank
and
you.
and
This is most fun I've had playing DFK.
no,
Yes.
I know absolutely. And because we're all masochists, including myself, when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm doing another stream in less than 8 hours. Um, so with that said, maybe some closing remarks and CryptoGrady and Raph, and I know I asked you, friends, but I'm just curious to know. I mean, why do we all do this? I mean, I just heard you guys taking time off. CryptoGrady, you're doing what you're doing. And I'm streaming in 8 hours. You stream every 2 hours. I mean, why do we do what we do?
Well, not as much as Rock. Who's the new
Oh
Rock?
my God, Rock 808.
Rock
He
808.
streams for like 8 hours
He,
every
he
day.
literally streams 6 hours a day.
That's incredible.
On just DeFi Kingdoms.
What a beast. Shout out
No
Rock
kidding.
808.
This dude's a beast. Okay. So, here's what I'm so like, my brain is crazy. I'm so conviction driven. I just couldn't help it when I saw everything going on. Okay. And I was at that point fairly deep into DeFi Kingdoms. And when all the FUD hit with Frisky Fox and all that, the more I looked into it, the more I was like, no, he's good. Like you got the community. It's just FUD. The more I looked into it. Okay. And the more I've looked into the project, I've been in crypto since 2016. And I've literally had 100 different cryptos go to zero, at least. Okay. Now I had in the past made a lot of money on crypto, but I've also lost a lot. Okay. With trying to be involved in so many different projects. I just come off a project called Phaeton Arena. Phaeton Arena, it kind of like it's definitely the best game in all of crypto by a mile, but it was essentially like a rug pull. It's just a phenomenal game, well developed. You talk about tournaments and all this and that. It's the bomb, but the coin practically has gone to zero and still is. And they've gone from 20 million users down to like 1,000 or less, or 500, less than 500. Okay. So it got 20 million downloads or more, 24 million downloads the first month it came out. Okay. Its app did. and just an awesome game. It was just so poorly managed. The team never communicated anything ever. It's all pie in the sky. Everything's awesome. And they would just ignore all the white elephants in the room all the time. And I would reach out to the team 50 times over and just got the same canned BS responses every time. And that's what I'm used to in crypto, where teams just don't communicate well. They're a bunch of nerdy engineers. Okay. And they,
Easy now.
I love the nerdy engineers though. We go together like hand in glove. There's a lot of different things I could have said there. Okay. So when you examine all of crypto, all the projects that I've ever seen in crypto, and Dreamer did a text this week on it, nailed it. They hit the green check mark in every single box. Tokenomics, how careful they are, how well they communicate, how careful they are with different in-game aspects, all the details, deep-rooted details, like all the genetics and all that. It's just phenomenal. Everything about the project. It's the best crypto project it's the best crypto project I've ever been a part of in the entire crypto space. The only one that compares, I would say, is CZ and Binance. Love them. Okay. And I love the Cosmos team and just their whole philosophy as well. But this project stands above anything else when it comes to listening to the community, which ironically, that's where they get most of their criticism, is that they don't listen to the community. They don't, it's like they do weekly AMAs. So they communicate better than anything I've ever seen for so many different reasons. So I just had this conviction and I was so deep in the game and I could help, we need help to bring on new people into the game and not just dabble in the game, but really get into the game.
Stick around. Yeah.
I just wanted to dive in, and then I'll think about down the road, okay, is this a potential money-making opportunity? Now, when I say money-making opportunity, that also has to follow my core values. So as far as the way I'm going to make money isn't going to be all these shady ways. It's going to be open, transparent, and it's not, the dollar isn't waved in front of my face. It's not, I don't sit around and think, oh, I need to create content. I need to create content at all. I spend 0 seconds a day thinking about that.
You mean you don't make money off of this? What?
$0 and 0 cents, except Stan the Man. Stan the Man sent me some like referral. I think I got, what did I get? $75 from Stan the Man. And nifty, baby. Okay, so that's the only thing I've gotten, and I didn't even know it was coming. Okay, so it's all about, okay, conviction driven. It's a completely different mindset than what you see out there, and that was how my philosophy with business as well. It's like I'm paving my own path, and if it works out, it works out cool. If not, it's a good learning experience. That's how I think about it. So I just want to be a servant to the space and add value. Okay. And then where there's so much value there, then I won't even think about trying to make money off the channel or something or whatever until that's there.
So, and that's interesting to hear, right? I mean, for me, it was never about, hey, I'm gonna stream to be a YouTuber and make money, because I never, the fact that 5 people watch at any given time, it's like, wow, that's 5 more people than I thought would watch, right? But but Raph, I mean, for you, what's your conviction? What keeps you going? Why do you do this?
I mean, now it's the community. Being a part of, whether it's the podcast tonight, the Fight Club tournament.
Yeah.
But I can't, stand here and say that it always started out so altruistic. I mean, at first I was drawn to the game by, the aesthetics of it, the enjoyment of it, making money doing it, and then believing in the team itself. But at this point, I mean, it's just as much believing in the Kingdom Studios team as it is enjoying to be with our friends here, that I would say, that we have on, whether it's the podcast tonight or, Fight Club tournament, like all these people here. I mean, it's really fun doing this. Like this is the most fun I've had playing DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah.
My
Yep.
wife's like, what's going on this weekend?
And now you've
And
heard my
I'm
marital
like,
subject,
yeah,
right?
it's
You
my
got my
second
marital.
job.
I'm a marital DeFi Kingdoms counselor. You've gotten that counselor, right, from me? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I need some help. I need to sign you up.
No, hey, I get it. It's the community, right? And by the way, I love the fact that there's such a level of camaraderie amongst all the streamers. It's very surprising. I almost can't think of anything where there's that level of camaraderie. I feel like it really cutthroat. I mean, at least that was my impression going into this um beforehand. I don't see it as and maybe because there's no money in it, right? I mean, at least
Right.
now I don't see it sort of as any level of competition. I just see it like, hey, it's friends getting
Yeah.
together and just chatting about things we love. And France, I know I asked you, but I do want to sort of wrap up with you. Any other final thoughts or remarks? Maybe something you didn't mention or something you would want to reiterate?
Yeah, we talked about it before, but I will mention that I've always liked podcasts as far as absorbing information. So when I found DFK, I went searching for podcasts, and there was one that I found, Adventures in D5 Kingdoms, and your sound quality has gotten a lot better since
It
Yes.
has.
episode 2 or
Oh,
3.
it
It
was
was
so
it
bad.
was a struggle, Raph.
It was so bad. Fair feedback. Yeah. You're not the only one. Like, I think about everyone and their mom told me, like, your mic sucks. Like, do something about this.
Hey, can I tell you guys something too? Because you
Sure.
just said Sarge. So, if this game turns out to be what I believe it's going to be, or can be at least, okay, and you look 2 years down the road, and we put in the grind on the channel and things like all the services you guys are doing, Adventures in DFK and Bogside. Like, okay, so you look at these gamer YouTubers, it's nuts. My kids watch them all the time, drives me crazy. And so the upside to, if we're grinding, we're putting in the time now. If this works out, we're going to be the first front runners, to a potential massive ecosystem. So,
Hmm.
and I see, and I've already told Sargent this, but definitely Raph, Neindorf, Franz, Guy Kid, you guys are all, I think, going to be pillars in this ecosystem. So just imagine when
I
millions of people are playing this game.
I mean, I hope we get the opportunity to. I'm really excited
Yep.
about what Wisdom Gaming is going to do, and
Mhm.
Yep.
I think we're going to be excited to welcome the new community with open arms when it comes to setting up future tournaments. So, I mean, I'm guessing that's, I haven't talked to Franz yet, but I'm guessing that's kind of the idea behind. At least I know what Neindorf has in his mind, and I'm sure what the guys from Blockside Chats are looking at developing when it comes to tournament organizer is, how do we scale this? How do we make sure that we're getting new players involved? And how
Yep.
do we make sure that it could continue to be Fight Club, it could be Wisdom Labs, it could
Right.
be
Right.
whatever it is in the future, but yeah, we're here to support that. So I definitely echo that sentiment.
No, for sure. And and I'll close up with this. I mean, it's one of those things where you hear, hey, you know, crypto projects building in a bear market. That's brilliant. Keep that up. That's what makes successful crypto projects. I think the same goes for creators, right? Building,
Yeah.
dishing out content in a bear market. I like you, CryptoGrady. I suspect if we keep it up, we I don't want to say pillars, but we'll definitely become prominent voices within the community. I don't, I'm sort of cracking jokes here. I'm too dumb to know how to monetize that. Again, I'm not looking for that. For me, it's really sort of just getting to know people and sort of um don't get me wrong, if someone sent me an $80 check, I'd be happy with that. But at the end of the day, I mean, really, it's about really talking about the project, making sure people are aware of it, making sure people hear what's new. So that way we keep the project alive. And I love what you have all said, and friends, just like you, I look forward to hearing all your different channels and different, I look forward to watching all your different videos. And when I go through them in a week, and I'm like, okay, well, who am I gonna listen to next? It's like,
Yeah.
no, someone,
Hmm.
when you
Yeah.
guys all took like a week off, a week or two ago, I was like, no way, who am I gonna listen to now?
Oh man, I
we
know.
we got to better coordinate next time.
It gets
Right?
and it does get
We can't all
discouraging.
take a break at the same time.
Yeah,
Like I get discouraged a lot. Like it just all kinds of mental head case
Yeah,
problems with me. But like it is hard to push through. The bear market just wears on you. And but hang in there. That's why at least hang in there through the bear market.
true
for
that.
sure. For
Yeah.
Hmm.
sure. Well, with that said, guys, I will catch you all at the next one. I'll be here in a few hours, up and early, talking to someone from Singapore. Um,
Oh,
he's a boy. He does like different art, so the
wow.
DFK art specifically.
Really?
So happy to talk him up and see what he's up to. Another content creator. But I was telling my wife, at this point I need to come up with a dartboard of like everywhere I'm talking to people at. Sort of interesting to see what it all looks like at the end of the day. Um, but again, thanks, thank you guys for jumping on. Thank you all for listening.
I love it.
And I look forward to just catching you, Raf, tomorrow. See who makes it to that final. And I know you have a long day ahead of you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, guys. We're gonna be popping the popcorn, baby. I love you
Yes.
guys.
Thanks,
Yeah.
CryptoGrady.
Thanks for
Good luck.
having us, Sarge.